Okay, finally, Yoga Point. If you do not know what we're talking about and you're wondering like what are these guys smoking, Fnatic, Daylor is really big on yoga in the morning. If you watch Life of Legends, they like their yoga. That's pretty much it. Back to Champs League.
Okay. Actually, nothing's been banned yet, so it's not that exciting. Waiting for the first ban from H2K. It's going to be the Gangplank. Seen him banned in pretty much all of these games so far.
Yeah. Time Kench banned out. Finally, we saw just how strong he can be. Yes, even if you fall behind, he doesn't really do too much, but the amount of damage he could soak up was pretty relentless. What I want to see from this draft from Fnatic is a winning jungler top lane combination that they can then use to get Gamsu ahead of Oruame. I think that is their win condition, because that's where everything started falling down for Fnatic last week. They couldn't get ahead there, and they just started crumbling. Yes, the bot lane was playing a losing matchup, but losing matchups, you can always lose gracefully, especially people like Reckless and Noxac should be able to gracefully at least lose their lane. But the biggest thing is you need to keep your top lane relevant.
And Gamsu was one of those top laners who can make that happen. We saw him go ham in his first game as Olaf, so very possible he can make that happen in the top lane if he has the right setup. Poppy was the next ban coming in from H2K. Has seen a pretty good support play here in Europe and in other regions, seen it in jungle, even top lane, so very strong pick, going to be taken away here.
Yeah, it just changes a lot of the context in a lot of compositions, so that's why teams that are confident in their own ability may actually not put too much time into playing champions like Poppy, consider it maybe even cheesy, and just straight up ban it out and play more meta overall.
And the Shen was the final ban out from Fnatic, so taking away that strong flex pick. Seeing it in the top lane, sitting in the bottom lane as that split push out. Olaf as the final ban. A lot of respect coming in from H2K, taking that away from Gamsu. Also a flex to Spirit can play it, but yeah, taking that away from Gamsu.
Yeah, if you look at the ban percentages, Graves right now sitting on 20%. You know, that's more because it's a week 2 pick coming out. It's probably likely been spammed by every team in scrims. Why people are starting to finally respect it, especially since they see it in other regions. Whereas if you look at the Poppy and the Olaf, I feel coming into week 1 it was meta, but week 2 it's developed more into a very cheesy role right now. The Poppy support, maybe top lane, and the Olaf is a direct target ban. That's something we haven't really seen too much on the purple side. They generally have been these generic, you know, really strong power pick bans like the Lulu, like the Lissandra overall, which are both open, by the way.
Yeah, and Kindred as well, actually open in this game. We had one game so far where it's actually been open and no one decides to pick it, and it is available in this game. Lissandra, great as a first pick as it can be flexed up. Good into a lot of matchups, can just farm it out. Now waiting for what H2K bring up for their first 2 picks.
Yeah, I used to heavily dislike Lissandra, especially coming in. Every time she gets back into the meta, at first I'm like, nah, you're wrong. And then
it grows on you.
Then it doesn't grow on me. It's just like, okay, I'm wrong. I see it work out in team fights. The main strength of Lissandra, if you're unfamiliar with it, is just the fact that you can unpredictably move with the Claw 2 into certain gang paths, because that's obviously lack of vision. And more importantly, you can buy just so much time. Especially since now the ulti heals yourself. You can go in, soak a bit of damage, ulti yourself, heal up a tiny bit. Zonia, suddenly you bought 5-6 seconds for your team. Well, by that time, they should be able to win the remaining part of the fight with a numbers advantage.
An exceptionally strong pick to start off the draft for Fnatic, not really revealing that much either, really. First 2 picks going to be the Lulu, who made it through all those bans, and the Corki as well. Can see it as another flex. It's Flex City right now, and looking for maybe that mid lane, maybe that's AD carry.
So I wonder if that's actually going to be Lulu top lane, because we see Corki. I feel if you run Lulu and you run a protected X or Y composition, you kind of want to have an AD carry that benefits more from it. So we may actually see Lulu shift to the top lane, which does fine into Lissandra, top, you know, mage versus mage. Corki mid for a lot of pressure, and then a scaling AD carry. And then H2K can just play their siege game again, their group up game. Yes, they are individual players, probably praise that. But right now, their macro game is ahead of other teams, and they can just use that macro game to straight up win the game.
So maybe even seeing a poke composition there or something they can really use to show off their strong macro game. Fnatic now 10 seconds left to see what they lock in. Kindred still available, is being hovered over by Spirit. We'll see if that is actually locked in, along with the Alistar as well.
I love it.
From Feathervin. We'll go into that support role for Noxiac.
If they lock this, I like it. Just as a standalone draft, I haven't thought about too much about what H2K is going to answer, but just like, if you just need a blind pick, 3 generic picks, Lissandra can target CC, which you need. Like, I hate compositions that all have conditional engage. Like, yeah, if one of us catches him, we can all catch him. No, just point and click, target CC. You get Lissandra that can buy time in the front of the fight if she goes in. You have Kindred that can buy time and deal damage in the backside of the fight with the ultimate. You have probably the best peeling and disengage support in the game. We saw what Nisbeth could turn around in certain scenarios last game too. On that Alistar, he's tier 1 pick. very often in LCK and LPL, so good draft so far from Fnatic.
And they can fit basically anything into that as well. It's so nice to pick up early as well, so you can pick those high damage carries.
And they have hard engage. The problem is, you can still get poked and sieged out if you respect the engage from Lissandra. If a Mikhails comes in, maybe a Black Shield comes in, then it's tricky. You can snowball super hard with it though, but if you fall behind, obviously any composition has their limitations.
Sure, and now that Black Shield will be in this game because that will be the lock-in for the Morgana and also the Elise in the jungle. Just a strong jungler right now. Elise just fits in most places.
Yes.
But instant response for Kalista as well.
Skirmish on the side of Fnatic. They have a super strong bot lane. If this is Corki bot, Corki Morg, Kalista Alistar should really beat it in terms of all-in potential. They may get pushed, but they should definitely be able to get a kill somewhere. I think it'll actually be Corki mid. Some safe AD carry. Forgiven doesn't play, or doesn't strike me as an Ezreal player, but that could be like a blue Ez right here. Could be good for late game. So hard to get to, especially Morgana Black Shield into Mikhails Crucible. But H2K, they're setting up for Siege. I mean, just this lineup alone, any of these champions, just grouping of 4 of them, can destroy and siege towers. They can pick another AD carry. They can pick a stronger mid laner that can split. They can have like a LeBlanc for pressure. But we're waiting on the pick, the final pick for Fnatic to see where that Lissandra is going to go, and that's going to decide what H2K picks later. So Lissandra actually goes mid right here. That may actually shift the Lulu to the mid lane and get maybe a stronger top lane pick that can split.
Yeah, the Gnar going up there, and it's actually very likely we could see the Corki go onto Forgiven here. We saw that last week, and he had such a strong performance. Still unkilled, by the way, in the spring split. The only player in the LCS to be unkilled.
I feel like Corki mid should actually do fine into Lissandra. Doesn't sound like that matchup is too brutal for the Corki. You get like a blue Ez and still make the Lulu top. You could also just put the Lulu mid. Just a lot of options. H2K, it's the power of flex picks, you know.
Yeah.
They have like so many options they can go for here.
Just the very last pick, and it could be in so many different positions as well.
There is Morgana solo lane too.
Yes,
technically, if you really want to talk all flex picks, and then by very far proxy there's Elite support, but I don't. that's not actually.
Haven't
real
seen
flex.
that for a very long time.
Yeah. So Fiora is one of the picks I was thinking about as a strong splitter. Just put the Corki on AD carry. Yeah, you may have a rough lane sometimes, but you can just AFK push. They're smart enough to escape the ganks, and then Fiora late game 4-1 pressure. She does. If she gets slightly ahead of Gamsu, just destroy him.
And that all swaps up all of the picks over for H2K, so now we see exactly what they're running. Fiora in the top lane with the Lulu in the mid lane, then Forgiven going back onto the Corki, and then the Morgana for support. Forgiven, we didn't see that many big proactive plays with the package last week, but did he really need to?
No, he did make some plays though, because H2K's was so macro focused. Obviously, there's no real big highlight reel. Problem is the game was like over macro-wise by the time he made 2 plays, but he did make 2 significant plays with that package, and that was actually impressive.
That's fair.
Which is why I like him bringing it to the table. It adds another layer, another bit of flavor to that composition. We'll get into the styles maybe in the early stages of the game, but definitely significantly different drafts here for both teams.
Yeah, also want to see how well that Kindred does in this game. However, with the lineups locked in, it is time for these European powerhouses to leave it all on the Rift.
Their roster looks really strong. I would compare it a bit with our team. We all have carry players.
H2K go 2-0.
I'm not scared of anything.
Vitality bounce back to beat Fnatic.
Playing against Reignover, I think it was kind of harder. Because Spirit, it depends who he plays.
레이너버 선수나 아니면 깜수 형이 깜수 선수가 훈이 선수보다 더 못할 거라는 생각은 안 하고요. 저희가 훨씬 더 나을 거라는 좀 확신을 해요.
I'm confident in myself, but I don't know what could he pull off.
And we are on to the Rift, ladies and gentlemen. Fnatic getting in here along with H2K. One of the hypest matchups this week, honestly, here, Crapo. And I'm excited to watch it happen.
I'm just excited for the music in that feature. Whenever I trash talk from now on, I just want that music playing behind me, with metal vibes. Like, it adds weight to the words.
It does, yeah.
But yeah, let's see if these guys start fighting. I was going to talk about both these compositions, really, what their strengths are. But looks like we're seeing a bit of an invade, and that's your turf.
It is. And Fnatic are coming in here. We may even see the level 1 fight erupt, or maybe not, as Noxiac gets instantly CC'd up, and he'll have to back away with his team. What goes down, just to get a little bit of information, but that's all that Fnatic are going to get from the first minute of the game.
Yeah, you see how much H2K respect Fnatic? It's like Alistar face checking. We could wait for him, but you know what? Let's not. Let's not get 4-man pulverized overall. So Fnatic say, well, you're left side, we move to the right side.
And Fnatic instantly go into the bottom side of the jungle as well and trying to get even more information. And with everyone paying more respect to Fnatic, decide to back away. Vander just throws out another binding, just in case Noxiac doesn't go back. And with the timers, he may actually stick around as well. Will that really matter? He'll have regened most of that before getting to lane.
Yeah, definitely. As long as they don't accidentally press F, paying their respects. Maybe. Little unlucky flash. Back to the days of press D to dance in all chat.
Oh yeah,
I'm sure
yeah.
some of you
So
fell for
both
that.
ways.
Actually, before we get into, I actually logged out when Halo. Some guy told me a cheat code. I was like, okay, up, you know, A, B. Turns out that sequence, if you quick it fast enough, logs you out of the game. You just literally quit, but you didn't see it. Anyways, Keystones. Spirit double jungle here with Gamsu because we have a lane swap that came to be. Odoamne will have a rough time. He'll get zoned from the CS here, picks up a little bit, but definitely seems that Fnatic ahead of the play right here. Shutting down Odoamne early. Yes, Gamsu pays the price, but he's already double jungling. So definitely good start from Fnatic.
Yeah, the tempo was definitely on the side of Fnatic to start with this one up. And you were talking about it in Champion Select as well. If Gamsu can get ahead and be able to duel Odoamne, that will be a big boon for Fnatic as we get into the mid and late game. And Gamsu being slightly further ahead will help that happen.
So if we're looking at what these compositions are strong at, Fnatic really want to skirmish. They have a split push component with Gamsu. They can later have a decent like mid-game teamfight competition too. Especially if Gnar goes more tanky build instead of Black Cleaver. Likely he will still go Black Cleaver to deal with Fiora though. But yeah, Fnatic, skirmish, and a mid-game power spike for teamfights. I mean, they have two abilities that can buy them a lot of time. They have a lot of good base damages across the board. One of the strongest supports. Whereas H2K, by all means, they want to avoid a fight or force it when people are poked out already. They'd never want to do a 5v5. Both teams go at it on full HP. That's generally not what they want to do. They want to split push with Odoamne. He plays no part, no role in that siege environment, so you want him to take away the Gnar, keep Gamsu busy, and then in the 4v4, H2K want to ward the flanks and siege up and group on towers.
But still, there's a lot of good tools on Fnatic, as you were talking about in Champion Select, to stall out the fight with Lissandra jumping in, be able to protect the backline with Spirit as well. So even when H2K get into those team fights, it may be a little difficult for them depending on how this early game goes for their carries.
Yeah, definitely hard for their carries. So positioning will be fundamental for them right now. We see the tower going down early here on both sides. Gamsu's going to bounce that wave and to see if Fnatic goes for the double mirror or if they just want Gamsu freezing and having the safety of the tower behind him.
So Gamsu actually going to take a bit of punishment from that tower, and actually the tower's still up because there wasn't enough minions there.
That's horrible.
So yeah, Noxiac has to go back in and help him with this wave now.
That's a big mistake. You're giving so much experience. Just keep your eyes on the experience that Noxiac has compared to how much Gamsu could have had. More importantly, when Fnatic was ahead of the play, they are now behind the play. This is a big mistake.
Gamsu only now getting this turret, now the minion wave is there and I'll be pushing towards him. Forgiven is there along with Vander and Jankos to support the play, and Gamsu now has to go back and also walk back to his tower if he wants to recall because the fact that Forgiven's already there.
Yeah, and Odoamne just levels up to level 3 here. So imagine if Gamsu did that play properly. Not only could he have base, decided what he wanted to do, freeze the lane maybe, but he would have been ahead of experience of Odo as well.
Actually, nice Sentinel up in there in the early game to make sure that Odoamne has to go away from the bush to start recalling. So nice use of his W there. And Vander in the mid lane, looking to potentially set up a play onto Forgiven.
Alright, what you want to do is Hex, so he can't W out, or E out.
Gets it right on time, the Cocoon as well. First blood over to Ryu, could not have been played better.
Feven! Respect Ryu as a good player. You don't do that. You don't walk into Hex range. You just flash the hell out of there, because you know more people are coming. Disrespect from Feven pays... Is it what, the iron price? Just,
the iron
he dies. He dies.
It is the iron price, Greppo, and he paid it. Bottom lane now being pushed in from Reckless, and Noxiac, Forgiven in the top lane, with the help of the rest of his team, should be able to take this down a little faster than the bottom lane. But that first kill going over to Ryu to set the ball rolling in this game. H2K already slightly ahead.
Yeah, so 2 plays that cost Fnatic momentum. One, the failed top tower, then the mid lane pick. Lulu gets a free base, Jankos gets to leisurely stroll around the jungle, towers get swapped out, and H2K again, you know, playing the superior early game yet again.
Can they transition this into the mid game? That's the next question, but so far from what we've seen from them, probably they can.
The lane swap does play into H2K's composition to an extent though, because what H2K want to do is group up on single towers and then siege them, and it's way easier to siege any tower of any variant if the counterparts are dead. So if you want to get a tier 1 tower in mid lane, it's a lot easier to get that if the outers are down, because you can push in your waves deeper and set up rotations, especially if it's even more true for tier 2 towers there. if you want to get any of them, once you break the first one, it's significantly easier to get the other ones. And H2K, what they want to do is group up on towers, and that's also what they did so well last week.
Spirit is just trying to get those early stacks up on those camps. He's now on the top Rift Scuttler, which is actually pretty nice for him, as the rest of H2K is now on the bottom side, so should be a fairly easy stack for him to get. And Evander roaming up on this bottom river. You can take a look at when he picks up his early Sightstone as well, around 6 minutes, which is the earliest of any support in the LCS currently, in the EU LCS at least.
Vander loves his early Sightstone. He actually rushes it. We've seen there's different approaches. So either you rush Sightstone or you go Boots Ruby, and then there's another like decision tree where you can go, where you actually finish the Sightstone, or your name is Mata, and you go Moby Boots and you buy pink wards and you insert them very deep in the jungle. Not advised for any players below skill level of Mata. You're better off finishing that Sightstone as soon as you can. Vander has the earliest Sightstone in LCS, and more importantly, because the speed of execution doesn't generally matter for H2K, because they're grouped anyways, and he's protected by his team, so mobility is not an issue. Just getting the vision out is an issue that allows H2K to set up these rotational plays, and that is facilitated by that very early Sightstone from Vander.
It all starts with the Sightstone. That's what I've learned here, Crepo. And Forgiven now pushing in this bottom side of the map. You can see those deep wards as well from H2K, so far in that bottom jungle.
If you click on them, which you can, you guys can't.
You can.
But I'm literally clicking on them right now. You can tell that they're all placed by Vander, by that Sightstone. So yes, he's slower, but if you can safely get into the enemy jungle, he puts up the perfect ward triangle. Love it. And Forgiven can now safely pressure bottom tier 2, 7 minutes 30 seconds into the game. Not only that, they can put some pink wards behind that. They also know if Fnatic walks into this triangle. Look at that zoom. Love it. And they can see where Fnatic comes to ward. Nobody comes to ward, well, it's completely dark. We can make picks here. Jankos is stealing enemy red, all set up again earlier by that early Sightstone.
Look at Spirit, by the way. He's literally just skirting around his own jungle, finding a way to get in there. And when you're like that at 8 minutes into the game, it is extremely difficult.
Beautiful play here, macro-wise. And again, this is no fancy outplays. There's no mechanical highlight reel montage here.
Yeah.
One zoom tells the entire story.
Yep.
And if it fails, you can always fall back to your jungle because there's always still camps available.
Sure, always got that fallback. And now with the Rift Scuttler in the bottom side of the river being the one to be marked by Wolf, then Kindred can't get anywhere near it and take that. So that's denied instantly by Jankos.
Yeah, and the Boots, obviously, right now they equalize out on the same build. Boots 1 into Sightstone. Noxac couldn't use any of that mobility. Yes, he was quicker, but he had to pick bigger pass around for safety-wise, so he couldn't get any pick anywhere. And it does all boil down to the initial pickoff they made in mid, though. That Hex, on blue buff duel here, that got Ryu to kill. Because when your mid lane is pushing, you can make those plays a lot easier than as opposed to being pushed in. So H2K just working together as a unit. I don't think they've made a single bad decision in this game. Small
advantages on this map. You can see every single lane is ahead, apart from the jungle, but Spirit has been in lanes picking up some CS as well. Odoamne will be able to collect this wave, and that's all Fnatic can do. Push it to tower and then give it to Odoamne. Now they start roaming through this jungle. Can they make anything happen?
They can. Most definitely dive. Look at the wealth of CC, crowd control effects that Fnatic have at their disposal. They have Fate Skull, knock-up, into Pulverize, into Knockback, into Ice Tomb, into another W Snare, whatever it's called from Lissandra. Chain CC, so that's why H2K is frantically trying to defend this tower here. Half of it's gone. No instant wave clear just yet from Lu.
Doesn't quite have the AP to be able to do that just yet. In the top lane, though, Forgiven is getting a lot of damage on this top inner turret, once again, as he was doing in bottom lane. Yep. He's just been continuing to make these pushes happen. And
the bottom lane tier 2 tower is on 40% HP. The top lane tier 2 tower from Fnatic is on 40% HP, whereas H2K's towers are untouched currently. So that is the style they're playing right now. They're playing split push 80 carry, and that's because of the lane swap again. Fnatic did that lane swap, but it actually makes so that Forgiven's power level is way higher than that of his top lane opponent Gamsu right now, and that usually isn't the case. So H2K using that to their advantage to Siege.
And it almost started so well for Fnatic, because it almost looked like they had the tempo, they had the first play, but then Gamsu wasn't able to finish off the turret, and that was the first ripple that kind of snowballed out of control. Then the pick in the mid lane, and now H2K are ahead.
I love the term ripple, by the way. I'm gonna steal that eventually. Heard it a couple of times now. But yeah, it's a gold swing waiting to happen. And that's something a lot of teams don't realize. Like, yeah, we were even, but suddenly we fell very far behind. Yeah, it's because Forgiving is he's building up a deposit in the bank that he'll cash out eventually. Like he's chipping away at those towers, and then once he gets that, that's when he cashes the check.
Yeah, I'm gonna copyright Ripple right here. You heard it first, ladies and gentlemen. Of course, 2016. But
And then you're gonna call out other casters for misusing your term.
yeah,
Sorry.
it's not a difficult one to use, I'll be honest. But yeah, Noxiac and Reckless in this top side with Spirit, so he's able to get something done.
Yeah, you see the
They
difference. Like Odawami can't bust that tower.
No.
He can build up a wave that Gamsu can slowly clear, but like he can't actually achieve the same that Forgiven did. But all it takes is one good rotation to finish that. The deep vision has dropped now too. Ward's only last like 2 minutes 30 seconds right now on Sidestone. Fnatic has pressure again, and Fnatic do have the better pick potential, the better team fight, the better skirmish early. So H2K kind of need to set up very, very methodically, very slowly, because one mistake is Fate Skull, Knockup, Ice Tomb. Like they have so many plays on the side of Fnatic, and it's actually impressive to see that Fnatic has not yet been able to make a single one.
The first Rift Herald goes over to Fnatic, so I didn't quite catch who that one over to, but I think it was Spirit. We'll just double check that one.
Yep, I think it is. Let me check. Nope, didn't have it.
It's currently
Reckless.
Spot who it is, and it's Reckless, so he will may be able to do Odawami in a bot lane now. Gamsu's still there, but maybe he'll just tag out.
It's like the downside of one of these like macro-heavy games. You start playing Dora, just to explore again. Can you find the Rift Scuttler? Yes! It was Reckless with the Rift Scuttler. Good job! Now we wait.
And now we wait, yes. Spirit in the jungle, able to take this one away. You will take a look at this more squishy build he's going as well, which is one of the nice things you can do as Kindred, because you have the ultimate to keep you safe. One of the few junglers who can actually go high damage in the early game and not pay the price.
Yeah, definitely so. Fnatic looking to set up for maybe a dragon here. They're pushing a bot lane right now, and H2K, because the lanes are so long, kind of still have to respect him though. The dueling potential is on the side of Fnatic, and because Fnatic's mid tower is still alive, H2K can't really penetrate any of the jungle, because any claw over from Februm to left or right can create a pick, and because they actually don't have the vision set up already, they can't put new vision. Like, it's really easy to build on existing vision. One deep ward on each side can really open up the snowball vision-wise, but if you have no vision whatsoever, you have to be careful. And so this is the moment where Fnatic is equalizing the game again. You can tell that especially in the gold.
In some ways, this is a similar position to where we found ourselves in the last game, and now Vision is once again what's going to open it up for both sides to potentially get a pick, start the ball rolling, start being able to get advantages. Jankos is circling around the top side. We'll see if he can actually get anything down onto Gamsu. He's going to jump over the wall. He actually uses a flash there and isn't even able to follow up with the repel, and Gamsu gets away. Flash for flash in the end of that, though.
Yeah, but that's a... Hang on. Tower zone. Really good play. Really good play by Fnatic here. Reaction, you know. Failed Yankee to the top lane. Big misplay by Jankos. Really, really big misplay. You called Flash Cocoon. That was... He straight up missed the Flash Cocoon. That wasn't a reactionary flash from Gangsu on a Cocoon. It was straight up a whiff. So Gamsu's back in the game right now. Fnatic open up the tier 1 tower in the middle. They can get the deep vision. Fall back onto the dragon right now. And we got a game on our hands right now.
Yeah, Fnatic with this first dragon. It's not that early into the game, so it'll have to be a very long game for 5 dragons to be a thing. But still, getting the first one is very nice for the combat stats. You do have to finish it off, though. That is important.
Well, they want to steal the blue buff at the same time, and they want to get back to mid lane in time. So Fnatic maybe biting off more than they can chew. They shut down the blue buff. Can they get back? Look at how scared of H2K is. It's because they have no vision. They don't know how soon Fnatic will be back. They have a little bit of vision, but they don't want to get caught.
Back in, and then the call comes out. Look at the fan vote, by the way. 78% over to Fnatic, despite the incredible showing we saw from H2K. Look at the fan vote. Look at the fans who Fnatic has.
Definitely a large fan base that they've grown over time. I think one of the key things is good content that they regularly push out. Obviously, they had either they lucked out with some really nice personalities or they just build a nice team. It does help generating some fans for the organization if you go 18-0. So if you're an aspiring LCS org out there, just go 18-0.
That's all you have to do.
It's like Korean advice. And you will get fans. Just win games.
There you go.
It's not that hard.
It also helped that Gamsu went nuts in this first game as well. So
yeah,
being a good player also helps. But Reckless going to be able to clear out this middle wave. And Featherman actually caught up. We were talking earlier in the game how like everyone was ahead on H2K in these lanes, and now mid lane's actually ahead for Featherman at least.
Yeah, no, fantastic job catching back up there. No more disrespect. He also learns to come. It's one of those players, you'll only fool him once, you know, Featherman. He won't fall for the same trick twice, so now he will definitely respect Whimsy into Chain CC. Looking backstage. A2 Ispa.
Yep.
You too left me.
Well,
Stabbed me.
watching this game intently, and they were talking about it on the analysis. Go ahead.
Yeah, formerly working together, if you don't know who that was. So that was obviously Dale, our Fnatic's coach, and then Ispa, life coach, now managing H2K. Back to you, bros.
Okay, I was just saying, Daylor looking intently at this game. Analyst Desk was saying whether he has anything up his sleeve, maybe an ace perhaps from his poker days, but so far they have definitely caught up in this game. Almost getting a pick on Noxiac, but he has his ultimate and all of some of the spells, so just poking him out of the jungle so he can't get super deep vision.
Yeah.
Wasn't able to get what he wanted in the end there.
Not to miss Kojai here, but it is a worrying trend that that mid lane tower is still alive for Fnatic. Especially considering like H2K, they started out swinging, you know, side push into side push. Both tier 2 towers were at 40%, but they haven't really degraded at all. 35% in the top lane, 25% in the bottom lane. But more importantly, that mid lane tower is still alive, and that is the tipping point. Once that one falls, maybe H2K can get more out of it. But Fnatic did a fantastic job not allowing H2K to get more deep vision after that initial vision triangle faded. And right now, they have control kind of the game. They put Feven in the split push though. That means low wave clear in the mid lane.
Both teams just trying to get something more out of these rotations, but they're being matched blow for blow every single time. That is maybe one of the tipping points though.
And that's the difference. Whereas it takes Feven 2 spells to clear the wave, it takes Fnatic like 5-6 seconds to clear the wave. That's enough time for the H2K poke composition to actually whittle them down, that eventually they have to yield that tower. So I think Fnatic will have to make a move, a flank, a teleport with Feven, because if they keep doing this, mid lane tower will fall, and then the rotation game will start.
The package is now live on Forgiven, so we'll see if he uses that in the next couple of minutes. Actually, he's just used it before it's disappeared, so
yeah, disappeared.
Ignore that
1 minute match. Package was live. Noxiac threatening the engaged. Black Shield preemptively come out. So again, you know, chipping away at the tower, and Feven is not putting any counter pressure. He based, so Fnatic trying to buy as much time to put some pressure in the side lanes.
Yeah,
You may have to match him right now, but
how far can he push really? Because he's blind basically in the bottom jungle, so he can take away this pink ward, but he can't exactly push all the way in there. Meanwhile, top lane was being pushed in by Odawame, and Gamsu is fairly far back, so they won't be able to pressure the lanes, they'll just be able to receive those waves.
yeah, bit of a stalemate here. Obviously, Forgiven can clear waves, so H2K will never have any problems getting siege on because they have the wave clear. The problem is when Fnatic starts to dive. Feven looking for assassination here too in the bot lane. Ryu pushes the wave. But Fnatic more comfortably, they're trying to instantly catch these waves. Again, you want to stop this push right here. You don't want to stop it when it's already at the tier 2 tower, because then Ryu can technically disappear, join mid, 5v4, poke you down, you lose your tower. So Feven doing a good job here. H2K reacting, saying, okay, we can't break open mid because the actions that Feven's doing. Maybe we kill Feven first.
Yeah. This game has just all become about the map movements, about the macro game. And very little interaction between the laners themselves as the Rive catch the wave and try and make something happen on a different part of the map.
Don't go for Herald when your mid lane tower can be sieged on. That's super risky.
I think Alistair's coming down to react to that, but H2K may be caught in a bad position if they try to go for this one, because Feven jumps in, looking for the Frozen Tomb. Isn't able to get it because of the spell shield. The flash into the knocker from Noxiac, though. Knocks Ryu into the team. He'll have to flash away, but there is the Frozen Tomb. Can't burst him down before the Wild Growth comes up, though. And Jankos being chased into the jungle. Now Odawame arrives. Does he have the damage to deal with Reckless? The rest of the team is dead, and Fnatic annihilate H2K in that fight.
Ace for Fnatic. Big team fight, and this is what we were talking about. Yeah, H2K, they have the siege, they have the poke, potential rotate, but by God, don't team fight them. Look at the damage overall. Beautifully executed overall, and well, there's no Baron, but there will be in 5 seconds from now, and this may actually be ace into Baron for Fnatic.
Man, that sucks for H2K in terms of timing. Losing that fight in the mid lane, everyone is down. Jankos was one of the members to die around the middle part of the fight, so he's not even going to be a first to try and even contest a steal. And this Baron is just gone. Over to Fnatic at 20 minutes. Now we have a huge swing in this game.
Yeah, what a gold swing. Let's watch this again. So Feven goes in, doesn't blow his ulti immediately, even though Jankos re-engaged. H2K, they don't have a team fight, so they can't re-engage, even though they point-blank cocoon Feven. Noxiac, 2-man pulverize engaged. Again, you know, way more than what is Vander offering in his teamfight. It's not Vander's fault, it's just he's playing Morgana. Gamsu comes in, look at this. 3-man ultimate overall. Knocks Ryu into the wall too. Feven still untouched. Or half-touched. Odoamne comes in. He's not... 1, he joins late, and 2, he can't join these teamfights at this point. Just H2K completely caught with their pants down, and Fnatic understanding the strength of their composition. They had the patience to wait for an opportunity like this, but then they went ham. They went all in, and it paid off with an 8 and a Baron.
And Stats God Spellsy just informed me that Featherman dealt 3,600 damage in that fight. And that is almost as much as the entire enemy team combined.
Yeah.
By himself. Ridiculous.
I mean, look at the health. Like, right now, average health on somebody is like 2k, so
yeah.
Featherman took down like 2 people on his own, just single-handedly.
AoE, boys. Quite strong. 0-1-5. And after all that, didn't even get a single kill.
Nope.
Went over to his allies.
That's when they go like, yeah, who got the kills? Good job, Gamsu and Spirit.
Yeah, yeah. It's like in solo queue, it's just like, well, I've got a good KDA, and it's just like, I'm not even gonna look at the damage dealt graph.
That's how we deduce who did well.
Yeah.
Featherman, you know, yeah, he joins these fights really late, gets some assists, but really doesn't contribute much. No, but it's only gonna get worse right now. Look at that build. Rod of Ages slowly stacking up. You have Zonias already at 22 minutes with CDR boots. That's pretty early overall. Because he has insane CS, by the way. 223 at 22 minutes. Yeah, Fnatic, they held on beautifully. You gotta commend them, because things are looking grim. Like, any worse team, even slightly worse, would have lost their mid lane tower, would have lost both tier 2s in the bottom, and the game was likely over. Because at that point, the vision, snowball, it's too easy that way for H2K. They did a fantastic job keeping away the vision out of their jungles.
Fnatic getting a lot from this Baron, taking in an inner turret as well at the 22-minute mark. H2K can't really contest that one, and now they can sweep the enemy jungle as they leave, taking so much from this one. And they still have that Baron life for a little bit longer.
Yeah, the problem is H2K right now, they can't force Fnatic to decide, you know, force a team fight or lose the split push or poke, because Fnatic's like, well, we'll just match your poke lanes. Our minions right now are magic resistance. Well, guess what? All your poke is magic damage. You can't even wave clear anymore. We just siege on you and force a dive. So this is really troublesome.
Top lane siege now coming in for Fnatic. Forgiven trying to clear this from long range, but Ryu also trying to clear that with the glitter lance, but the buffed up minions are so difficult to clear at this stage in the game. Top tower goes down, and another one over to Fnatic.
Yeah, Featherman just threatening to dive there from the side, because they know all they gotta do is take the tower, or one is split pushing. H2K just want to buy as much time as they can, but again, he can't even get that tier 2 tower. That was already at 20% in the bot lane. Look, that was all Forgiven, by the way, that did that. He set that up, but he couldn't quite get there.
This would be such a big win for Fnatic, by the way, because the analysts they were talking about H2K being such a good team at this point in time. Can Fnatic challenge them? Apparently, yes. Yes, they can challenge them, being so far ahead in this game after that swing. And picking up this win would be pretty big for them.
Yeah, I like the fact that H2K is going for compositions like these, though. It just shows that they are very confident on scrims, that they have better macro understanding of the game, and they likely push it a little riskier. It's one of these compositions. If you play it in scrims and you're better than your opponent, it actually snowballs out of control a little harder, and all it takes is a little bit of extra snowball in the early game to really make this a stomp every game. But on the stage, you know, when you're a little more hesitant, you just, fuck a war. Do I risk it? No, I don't want to be that guy that overextends, and because in the highlight reel, like Odoamne right here, see, not much will happen.
The riposte and gets it. Now he'll start recalling again.
But yeah, back to the story. Like,
okay, I'm ready.
If you're on the stage, you know,
this one.
Yeah, sit down, monologue. You just don't take that extra risk here and there, and then suddenly that teamfight comp, you know, the pull the trigger all in shotgun type of composition wins out. Because I'm confident that H2K can play a similar composition like Fnatic and may do better. But I love that they're actually going for this type of style of League of Legends, because I think in terms of practice and training and what it rewards you to do long term, it teaches you a lot about the game that you can then use later on in playoffs, maybe at Worlds.
This is a very smart game as well to watch. It's maybe not the most flashy from both teams, but it is very interesting to see on a macro sense, just so you can see what the teams have been prepping and how they react to certain situations. And currently, H2K lag behind in this game. Let's take a look at some of those item builds and item spikes, though, because in the top lane, Odoamne has managed to hit Titanic Hydra and his Black Cleaver, so the core really there for the top lane. Likewise, so is Gamsu. So he's still ahead in that matchup and will be able to duel him. So we're actually seeing the inverse in this map. So we have Odoamne up against Featherman instead.
Yeah, Odoamne, he can never catch up to Featherman. Featherman can always claw out. Worst case, tomb himself, tomb the enemy, and then claw out again, flash, Zonias, buy enough time. Gamsu split pushing the lane. He's now stronger than Forgiven. Forgiven can't hold him anymore. And yeah, H2K kind of under pressure right now. Fnatic can't bust open the inner base just yet. They will need another Baron to do this. But it's already in the makings. Look at the vision control right now. No vision anywhere on the map for H2K. A composition like this sets up vision very slowly. because the risk of a team fight or a face check puts you back all the way. So it's very meticulous build and grind up with a big payout at the end of it. But because Fnatic is in control right now, there's very limited answers for H2K right now.
Looking at the vision control as well, H2K are being pushed so far into their base. You can only see a couple wards really around their base, and that's it. They can't get any deeper wards. They can't step out to get those wards. And Fnatic have responded with their own deep wards.
Because nobody can face check. That's it.
Right.
Like if you have like Gamsu, maybe probably don't want to send him in face check, but I'll start to send him in. Fates call him out. You know, come back to the Pokeball. If not, like Februn, now he can't face check, but he can get close. He has like 2 invulnerability spells, Kindred worst case with the ulti, whereas any member on H2K just can get caught out so easily, and they don't have a front line in fights either, so Fnatic get caught, one of them, they start a team fight, good. They can maybe even win it 4v5. H2K, hell no.
We've had a lot of downtime while these teams dance around the map and clear these minion waves, but with 14 seconds left on Baron, this could be the catalyst for a potential fight. Take a look at the trinkets now as well. Got 3 of those warding totems and looking to clear out the wards as well from Fnatic.
Yeah, the contrast in trinkets actually just tells an entire story. Fnatic, they want long remaining vision, lasting vision, because they don't care about face checking. They don't need those panic answers. Whereas H2K, they want to know what's going on without having to poke their head in the bush. So they actually want those really long-range revealing trinkets that they can then use to set some foundation of vision with the side stone, but they only have 1 side stone. If they have to use some wards or they get swept, it's really hard. So Vander will have to base a lot to get more wards.
Odoamne split pushing in the bottom lane, finds Gamsu as he comes in there as the mid lane is starting to poke off each other, but Gamsu arriving there with the red buff as well means he can push Odoamne away from the bottom turret.
Yeah, Fevin just pushed in. If you look at your minimap, a wave in the top lane right now. He moves in. They have to start checking these brushes though for these lone blue wards. Fevin will find one. As they disappear, H2K will be forced to use more of their blue trinkets, one of them available, or face check. And that will be their demise. Spooky Ghost, you know, another vision generating tool being used. Spirit gets poked.
It's a bit of damage down, but he still has his ultimate, still has a tanky knocksack in front of him to peel if necessary. And Ryu takes a bit of poke there, while Featherwind goes back to the top lane and continues pushing, so putting the pressure back on H2K.
Yeah, look at H2K. They thought they actually had the upper hand by getting the mid push, pushing in Fnatic, and then rotating into the Baron area to clear some wards, put some vision. But Featherwind was like 1 step ahead. Like, yeah, if that's your play, which is the normal play, fight for mid lane control. Whoever has it gets Baron control for a fraction of a second. Featherwind's ahead, you know, it's like, yeah, you guys fight for that vision. I'll just hit your inhib. H2K have to yield. They can never walk into the Baron area. They don't have enough wards on them anymore. They're slowly getting dried out of vision. And then Fnatic turns it all around, goes for a quick dragon, builds up the vision again. Complete control right now. They need to drive it home though. Definitely have a composition that could technically fall off later in the game.
Possible, but right now they're still very strong. Spirit able to take the 3rd dragon of the game over to Fnatic. The package is live inside the base if Giffen wants to get it. Maybe use that preempting a Baron play coming in from Fnatic in the near future. Jankos will take away this ward, but that's all he can really do.
Can you imagine jungle Corki with the package?
Oh man, the stuff of nightmares.
Just zooming over Baron, the drive-by steal, including the sound effects. I think that's what the next big thing coming to League right now.
Perhaps. Only Zac is the champion who can do that right now. Actually, I believe Jarvan can.
Yeah, technically.
Yeah.
He can slide over a very minor part of the top part of the Baron wall, and then just dip into the pit, smite, peace
See
out.
ya. But yeah, a lot easier for Zac because you have a little longer to get the drive-by down. But haven't seen that just yet.
Not quite. I don't think it coaches it. Okay, guys, the plan is... Listen carefully. We're going to steal Baron by jumping over the pit. Yeah, okay, you're fired. Thanks.
But that one time it happens, man, that will be a highlight reel that will be played for years to come.
All right.
Yeah. H2K in their jungle was able to take the bottom turret down. So Odoamne, his efforts over the last half hour, he's now able to take down that inner turret. So
At this
got
point,
it eventually.
It doesn't matter though. That's the problem with it. It's too late. I mean, it gives you some goal, but it has no big impact in the game. Gamsu can fight him a little farther down the lane. Fnatic, they're having issues though setting up the proper amount of deep vision. Look at the Fog of War. H2K doing a good job defending it. So generally, if you want to get a Baron, back in the day, what you wanted was Baron control and a couple wards in the jungle. Right now, you want a couple wards in the jungle. You want them to use Spooky Ghost. You want them to use all 3 blue wards. Then you can bait it. So very highly conditional. What you can do is though call their bluff and just burn it. If you look at Kindred, Kalista, Gnar, they can just 3-man that Baron incredibly quick, while Lissandra and Alistar just peel. And Fnatic can peel for 7 seconds on the Alistar before he kind of drops, and 5-6 seconds on Lissandra before she drops.
So the Baron has been started off here by Fnatic, but Spirit and Reckless were the ones tanking it, so they're taking a lot of damage while H2K can now pressure them away from this.
Yeah.
Lissandra was up there just in case they need to start up a flank play.
They forgot a crucial part of the equation. Baron deals damage, so you need somebody to soak that damage. Either Gamsu or maybe Alistar. So I was a little greedy to go for that play. It's fine if H2K don't commit and they say, okay, there's no way they're greedy enough to do Kalista. Kalista couldn't just do a Baron, but H2K respect him enough, you know. Slide in a blue ward, I believe it was for max range.
Yep.
That's in the back right there. Forgiven has the package right now. H2K doing a good job hanging in there.
They are, and at home you might be like, oh, Resident Sleeper, this game is like so slow and we haven't seen a lot of kills for a while, but neither team is able to make something happen specifically Fnatic because H2K is responding in the right way, getting the wars down, contesting the vision, contesting the hot zones in this game, and that's why you can't make something happen, and now Fnatic are trying to force something and it could go wrong as this fight erupts. Everyone is running away from H2K that have already been scattered. Noxiac does not land his combo and maybe H2K can do something here.
Alright, good couple good things here. Hang on, we'll explain it later because combo split pushing. Baron gets started again.
And the Baron should be going down, but H2K are coming in here and a lot of members from Fnatic are already poked out. Odoame now heading into this fight using that ward at the back of the pin. The Baron, who is it going to go over to? The Baron goes over to Kalista Ren, over to Fnatic, but now the rest of the team is getting chunked out. Odoame flashes away from the pin, but Reckless goes out, and Spirit not able to save him with the Lamb's Respite. He even has to step out of there, and only Gamsu is remaining.
The last kill prior to this fight was at 19 minutes in the game. We're now at 32 minutes, and Fnatic make a crucial mistake overall by recommitting to that Baron without the proper setup. Capitalization from H2K, beautifully executed, and now finally they get those towers.
40 seconds on those death timers for Fnatic. How much can H2K take from this? They've taken an inner turret. If they can kill Gamsu, they can get a lot from this. He's defending the middle lane, but he can't defend all of them.
Yeah, they'll just get the bottom lane inhibitor, and by that time they'll probably have to leave the base here. So much to talk about that phase prior to this though. Eventually get a replay, see what happened, but that was just a snowball of really good execution on the side of H2K and a series of, yeah, over-eagerness, hubris, and unfortunate events for Fnatic.
I'm kind of sad that big minion wave in the top lane as well, so they'll take this time to back off to their side of the map.
And just to touch on the story you were telling earlier about how we didn't get any kills, and we get the replay. So this is the end of the fight. Noxiac, this is already where stuff went wrong. There's almost no way out for Fnatic. Noxiac's already low, they don't have enough damage on the Baron, no Kindred ulti here, which means everybody drops. This fight's already over, but it's the setup that leads to this play. And that was actually, if we recall, while we watched this complete slaughter here from H2K, beautifully executed, by the way, was Fnatic doing Baron, they engage, the Cocoon comes out on the Lissandra preemptively from Jankos, which was good. Vander gets a Black Shield, he walks out, so H2K stopped the Baron yet again, but then Fnatic panic, and they TP in with Gamsu. That leaves Odoamne split pushing in the bot lane, and at that point, H2K had the control. Because they can poke Fnatic while they're doing Baron. 4v5 plus Baron damage working against the enemy team essentially is a 5v5. Noxiac is forced into an impossible situation where he has to peel a team. He's just not tanky. Then Odoamne, he can teleport in whenever he wants. He TPs in, finishes the fight. And H2K, they just did a tremendously good job not getting caught a single time in that span from 19 minutes to 32, fighting for vision continuously by using the blue trinkets, by using the Frost Queen's Claim, and by just sliding in enough wards in their jungle.
I always like games like these because you can see exactly what went wrong and what went right, because you have so much build-up to the big eruption of events that happens, and then you can take a look at what went wrong. Additionally, silver linings for Fnatic, they did pick up the Baron there, so Gamsu was able to buff the minions, so H2K couldn't take away everything they owned. Had it gone over to H2K, they probably would have lost a lot more, but they did manage to pick up the Baron there.
Yeah, they definitely did get the Baron. They don't have the benefits from the buff though, and they lost their inhibitor. So now Fnatic will have to deal with an extra side lane pushing, and that can put the rotational motor back in play here for H2K, because they can push out one lane, push a third lane in the top lane, for example, and siege 4 mid. Maybe that can open it up. That can get them enough control to eventually get a Baron of their own. I don't think any of these teams, barring a major ace team fight, will find an opening unless there's a Baron involved.
I think the real casualty of this game is the fact that Forgiven is no longer unkilled.
Yep.
He's no longer got an infinite KDA, has that 1 death in this game. 343 CS though. We had so much farming in this game. There's so much gold going over to both teams to start itemizing. Some of these players almost approaching 6 items as well. Mid lane specifically. On the side of Ryu, only has that 1 Duran's ring left to put another one into. Actually, he actually hasn't finished that 4th item, but take a look at the Baron power play.
Yep. Oof. That's the kind of play that happens when you get the Baron, you get aced. So you get 1500 from the Baron, but that's it. You know, Fnatic didn't really get too much after that. And what I do like is that trinkets are now free to upgrade, so we no longer have the situation where we have 6 item kind of guys with a tier 1 trinket.
Yeah.
You still have to press the button. We're not quite there yet. Maybe soon we'll auto upgrade it for you. You know, we at League of Legends care about you. Upgrade your trinket.
We do, and I'm wondering if Fnatic decides to change some of their trinkets as well with the game state changing.
Yeah.
Because it's still basically the same from what we saw earlier when they were ahead and their goals were different.
The problem is they won't need trinkets to find where H2K is, because H2K will group in front of them and show them where they are. They won't reveal themselves. So no flank. Nobody's gonna flank on H2K. They're just gonna come in the front door and be like, yeah, knock knock, who's there? Poke. Move away, step aside, take the turret. H2K right now, they're setting up the vision for the next Baron already. It's gonna take a while, but they want to keep control of the vision as best as they can, because they know the base is too closely knit together to really force one on opening there, and they'll get hard engaged on. But they can completely annihilate Fnatic's vision and force them to overextend for it. That's one play they can do.
Slowly shifting back over to H2K though. 4,000 gold ahead, Fnatic still remain, but far less than it was before. It almost looked unwinnable for H2K up until that point.
Yeah, and you're just losing the potential for Febiven to go in and really annihilate it and carry. So right now, Lissandro doesn't have the one-shot potential anymore. Maybe Unforgiven if he wouldn't have the QSS, but he has it right now. So for giving QSS out, Ryu can always Whimsy or ultimate himself right now. So Febiven will have to go in and buy time. So now Fnatic needs to hope that Spirit and Reckless still have enough damage in the backline to kind of 2v5 carry the fights, and that's going to be rough. H2K definitely have more damage in the late game.
Really down to the consistent damage from Fnatic now. And plus Odoamne is also gone for Sterak, so he's not going to get bursted down, and there's even enough time for Ryu to get the wild growth up, so not going to find the burst. Going to have to go down to those prolonged trades and see if they can even maybe get a pick or get the numbers advantage in the lane. But when you have a game state like this, it's difficult to make that happen. They're now being pushed further into their base, so okay, they can move from lane to lane a little bit faster, but...
Alright, I can actually, looking at it right now, I may have to reconsider my own statement. I can feel the wrath, the potential wrath of the Twitter analysts already. Does H2K really have... I think the biggest damage disparity will be Odoamne versus Gamsu here. Corki late game isn't the best damage dealer. It's probably equal with Kalista in certain scenarios. Ryu versus Febiven, equal. Dankus does less than a Spirit. So actually, yeah, the man to watch for the damage will definitely be what Odoamne does in these fights, because his sustained damage output is high if he remains uncrowd controlled.
Yeah, sitting on 4 items currently, and most of them damage items. Ryu able to take away the Sentinel here. Look at the amount of wards in the top side of the map from both teams, by the way. It's just scattered with red wards.
Yeah, no blue trinkets for Fnatic, so they have to face check by the old school way, popping their head into the brush. And have these fancy revealing shenanigans.
It's better for Fnatic, as we mentioned earlier, even when they were ahead, because they have the abilities so they can
safely, somewhat safely do it.
Stasis up?
Yeah, they have stasis on Febiven, they have like Unbreakable on Alistar. You see Odoamne is winning the split push, he's slowly whittling away at that inhibitor, and then whenever he gets chunked, he just lapses on the minions. We see a hard engage reaction for Fnatic.
And Noxiac gonna try and make it happen, gets a knock-up onto Ryu and Vander. Can the team follow up? Those Spirits coming in here, but Noxiac taking a bunch of damage even through his ultimate. The binding does not land. Odoamne in the back lines, gonna start dueling Gamsu. He's by himself, mitigates some of the damage with the riposte, jumps back into his team. Febiven with the re-engage, with the ultimate on himself to get some of that healing down. And Odoamne is out of mana, he's trying to escape from this fight. Ryu will go down, and Odoamne is unable to run away. Vander being chased in, and it's all going wrong for H2K.
H2K just threw the game. Odoamne, if he does not teleport, he can end the game. I'm pretty sure he could have ended the game, because Gamsu, no teleport, he left the lane, and there was a moment in that fight where H2K could choose to not commit, get out of there, because they made a pincer. They could have just disengaged, stalled the backs. I think Odoamne could have straight up ended the game right there on the Fiora, if not take 2 Nexus towers. And Fnatic, They may be at risk of ending the game themselves here. 30 seconds on both Fiora and Ryu.
Inhibitor goes down, but there's still 2 people able to defend this push.
They're doubting.
And the minion is coming, the
going
wave
for
is
it.
coming in. They don't have the Baron wave though, and Forgiven gets a good ultimate off into the back line of minions. Noxiat goes in with a face call though, able to get the CC up. That's the first Nexus turret going down, and they're focusing this one out. Spirit going into the ultimate, and Forgiven, he can't do anything about it. And Fnatic are actually going to end this game 41 minutes in, and they take the win over H2K.
Yeah, okay, I just want to see that replay.
Yeah.
The hell happened there? Well,
Man.
good closure though. Okay, at the end, what Fnatic did well, what we can analyze right here, good teleport on the minion. You saw it, slight hesitation though. That was the difference. Like, can we? Yes, we can. No, we can't. Okay, let's do it. Teleport on the minion, Fate's Call used, knock up, kill the wave clear, watch the death timers. They're now in the bottom right of the screen. You know, you have to press tab, and Fnatic composed. They win that team fight. We saw it again, you know, H2K, the setup for the team fight. Poke, 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 poke. But once everybody keeps fighting around, that's when Fnatic's composition is supreme. But, oh boy. I'm gonna, if I can't see it right now, maybe on the analyst test, but I'm gonna keep watching. I want to see that again. I think Oduwamno could have straight up, I really hope I'm right, because else I'm embarrassing myself. But I think he could have straight up ended that game in the bot lane.
Tiny elements that go into winning these fights or losing these fights, but still a win for Fnatic. Very big here. A lot of people were doubting them whether they could pick up this win against H2K, who have looked so good in a macro sense in the first week, and Fnatic eventually take this game. It was down to those very few team fights, and it was all down to that. It was a very clean game actually from both teams.
But that was textbook